Hello from Japan. Welcome to the first video of this channel. Today I'm excited to take you on a journey to Yamanashi Prefecture. We are heading to Kawaguchi Lake, which is located just 2 hours away by bus from Tokyo. I hope this video helps you discover the beauty, culture, and history of Japan and enrich your experiences here. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below.
I'm going to the bus station.
Let's take the Tokyo bus at Rakuten's office building in Futako Tamagawa. We'll spend about 10 minutes driving on local roads before we get on the highway. This area is called Yoga. Yoga originated in the late 16th century as a temple town. The name Yoga is believed to derive from a school of Buddhist philosophy that existed in this area. During the Edo period, Yoga village flourished as a post town along the Oyama Kaido, a pilgrimage route to Oyama Afri Shrine. The area was crowded with shops and tea houses catering to pilgrims and travelers. After the opening of the Tamagawa Electric Railway in 1907, Yoga saw an influx of urban migrants. In the neighboring Otawa's Chohu village, which is called Den-en Chohu, land development had already taken place, and it was being developed as a high-class residential area. On the other hand, in Tamagawa village, which included Yoga, land development had not yet begun, so the land was being bought and sold at low prices. So in 1923, the Tamagawa Zenyan Land Readjustment Project was initiated, resulting in a grid-like urban layout. This project is considered significant in the history of Japanese urban planning. Today, Yoga is a popular residential area for families, offering a rich green environment including Kinuta Park, while being only 11 minutes away from Shibuya by train. It successfully balances urban convenience with natural surroundings, making it an attractive place to live in Tokyo. Now that we are already on the highway, and as we make our way to Lake Kawaguchi, let me introduce the connection between the Futako Tamagawa area in Tokyo and Lake Kawaguchi region in Yamanashi. In the Edo period, which lasted from 1603 to 1868, there was no direct major road between Futako Tamagawa, located in Tokyo, and Lake Kawaguchi near the iconic Mount Fuji. Travel relied on a network of smaller roads and paths. It wasn't until World War II, with the development of the Chuo Expressway, a major highway, that accessibility dramatically improved. This change transformed Lake Kawaguchi into a popular destination for Tokyo residents. I'm worrying as it has been getting cloudy. Today, Futako Tamagawa serves as a gateway to the Mount Fuji area, including Lake Kawaguchi, fostering strong touristic and economic ties. This modern connection makes day trips and weekend gateways common for those seeking the natural beauty of the Fuji Five Lakes region, known for its scenic landscapes and cultural significance. Historically, Futako Tamagawa area was rural, with people traveling on foot, horseback, or using river transport, such as along the Tama River. The direct and efficient routes we have today are a result of modern developments like the Chuo Expressway, making our journey much easier compared to the past. Hey, there are many rice fields. This area is called Ashigarakami District, a part of Kanagawa Prefecture. Have you guys heard that what we know as prefectures today used to be called Han before the Meiji era, which lasted from 1868 to 1912? Actually, Ashigarakami District used to belong to Odawara Han. Guess what it means? The transition from Edo to Meiji was of profound significance for Japan on that day. Almost all of the Edo period saw the sakoku system, which prohibited exchange with European people except for the Netherlands. The government was afraid of Japanese people being affected by Christ and showing disagreement with them. However, such a period came to an end after Perry visited Uraga in Kanagawa in 1853. Japan signed the Treaty of Amity and Commerce with the United States, also known as the Harris Treaty. This marked a significant turning point for Japan as it sought to modernize and establish itself among the world's leading nations. Following this treaty, the Japanese government initiated a series of wide-ranging reforms aimed at transforming the country's political, economic, and social structures, including the introduction of prefectures. These efforts were part of Japan's broader strategy to catch up with Western powers and secure its position on the global stage. Now we've got to the Lake Kawaguchi station. It's not so crowded and surrounded by mountains. Did you see that there is a car train displayed over there? A new vehicle built by Fuji Sanroku Electric Railway, the predecessor of Fuji Kyuko, when the line opened in 1929. 5 cars from MO1 to MO5 were built and were designed to be used on one of Japan's steepest slopes running towards Mount Fuji. They were equipped with electric brakes and sand-throwing equipment to prevent steep slopes. Apparently, it was a cutting-edge vehicle, so these train cars laid the foundation for ensuring the safety of passengers traveling to and from Mount Fuji. Okay, so let's take a coffee break. This is House Tea Coffee, a cafe made from a renovated traditional Japanese house. From the late Edo period to the Meiji and Taisho periods, the silk farming industry was very active in this region. Many farmers owned mulberry fields and were engaged in producing cocoons, which were the raw material for silk fabrics. The lives of people around Lake Kawaguchi during the Edo period were marked by industries based on tourism centered around the worship of Mount Fuji and agriculture, especially silk farming. Perhaps in this very building, people were weaving silk threads from silkworms hundreds of years ago. Here, we are by the lakeside, where restaurants and souvenir shops line the streets. Let's start by grabbing something to eat. Since we've come all the way to Yamanashi, let's try a local specialty, which is called hoto. In the mountainous areas of Yamanashi Prefecture, it was difficult to grow rice, which has been Japanese soul food since 2000 years ago, you know. So people made a living by raising silkworms and getting silk threads from them. They grew mulberry trees to feed the silkworms, and after harvesting the mulberry leaves, they planted wheat. The wheat was made into noodles and cooked with seasonal vegetables in miso soup. The dish is called hoto. There is also a story that during the Sengoku period, the samurai Takeda Shingen cut the ingredients with his sword, which is why the dish was named hoto, meaning treasured sword. Whether you've been in Japan for a long time or not, it's natural to wonder how such a strangely shaped lake came to be. Lake Kawaguchi, one of the famous Fuji 5 lakes, was created through a fascinating geological process. Long ago, Mount Fuji erupted multiple times. The lava from these eruptions flowed down the mountain slopes. Then, the lava flows blocked river valleys in the area, creating natural dams. And over time, water from rain, snow, and underground springs filled up the areas behind these lava dams. As the water collected, it formed the lake, what we now know as Lake Kawaguchi. There is a beautiful garden here. This is the Yamanashi Gem Museum. Right nearby, there is a shop that sells stone jewelry. Actually, Yamanashi Prefecture is also known as a jewelry town. The history of this goes way back, all the way to around 6,000 years ago. One of the most famous items from that time is believed to be crystal. The first crystal product was an arrowhead used for hunting. At that time, most arrowheads were made from a stone called obsidian. However, because Yamanashi had a lot of crystal, they likely used it to make arrowheads. These crystal arrowheads must have been shiny and very luxurious. Then came the Edo period. when a key figure in Yamanashi's crystal industry appeared. A man named Yasuke, born in Kyoto, often visited Yamanashi to buy raw crystal. At that time, crystal mining was banned, so people had to wait for crystals to naturally appear on the surface to collect them. During the Edo period, priests from shrines would bring raw crystals to Kyoto to have them processed, which helped strengthen the connection between Kyoto and Yamanashi. The crystal craftsmanship tradition that came from Kyoto quickly grew in Yamanashi thanks to its local resources. Crystal from Yamanashi spread across Japan, driven by traveling crystal merchants and mail order sales. The crystal industry was later forced to shift to military use, but after the war, it was rebuilt and continues into the present day. We can see a sign for wine. Speaking of wine, it reminds us of grapes, doesn't it? Yamanashi Prefecture is very famous for producing grapes. It is said that grape growing techniques were brought to Japan, Koshu City, about 1300 years ago from Europe through the Silk Road and China. According to one theory, the origin of grape cultivation in Yamanashi dates back to 718 when a monk named Gyoki started growing grapes. The next thing we should check is the ongoing efforts of people to manage the water of Lake Kawaguchi. The Arakura Horinuki is Japan's longest hang-dug tunnel, stretching 3.8 km under Mount Tenjo. It was created to bring water from Lake Kawaguchi to Arakura village, which is now part of Fuji Yoshida city for irrigation. In the Edo period, Lake Kawaguchi often experienced flooding, causing water damage to nearby areas. At the same time, Arakura village, located at the foot of Mount Fuji, had very little water due to the lava flows it sat on. This led to the village being called the village without water. To solve both the flooding at Lake Kawaguchi and the water shortage in Arakura village, a plan was made to dig a tunnel through the mountain to bring water from the lake to the village. The construction began in 1690 during the Edo period, but the initial project failed as the tunnel couldn't carry water. The work resumed in 1847 due to the strong wishes of the villagers. After overcoming many difficulties, the tunnel was finally completed in 1866. This tunnel, which took about 170 years and 100,000 workers to complete, is now a designated cultural property. Now let's take a ropeway and enjoy the scenery.
I'm there to pray for the health and safety of climbers and tourists.
This mountain is called Mount Tenjo, and it was also the setting for a famous Japanese folktale. Lake Kawaguchi has many hotels and inns, but before World War II, only wealthy people visited the area, and they only came in the summer. However, after the war, transportation networks between central Tokyo and the base of Mount Fuji developed, making it a popular tourist destination where many people can visit easily, just like today. Here is the intake waterway for power plant. On the way back to the station from Lake Kawaguchi, we can see a temple. This is a Buddhist temple called Entsuji, which was founded in 1265. For over 500 years, the temple watched over the people Lake Kawaguchi. However, during the Great Fire of 1766, the temple burned down except for a small treasure storehouse. The temple we see today was rebuilt in 1786. This is the end of the video. See you next time.